Are you really?
Yep, we're recording. Hello, I'm Renee Sullivan. I'm here with Jackie De Silva, and Daniela Schwan just came on.
Yay!
Hello, everybody. We are here. Thank you for joining us. We're here just talking about law of attraction stories or things that have happened in our life that you don't necessarily explain logically or with reason. So we're just making this an informal chat. So it's really good to see you. I haven't seen you in so long.
I know.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation from Jackie. I appreciate it. I love to talk about that topic. So.
Anytime.
Go ahead. Well, you can actually share one of your experiences first. We'd love to.
I know I was actually just talking to her a few minutes ago too. So
awesome.
And she shared a story. So
yes. Well, just quick few sentences about my person. I'm Daniela. I live in Germany, and I was working all the time as a banker, and quit my job for online work because I stumbled into online marketing and did some businesses like RevShare. And yeah. Well, I quit my job because everything worked so well, and in the end, nothing worked out. So I was standing and had an online scam, lost my apartment, lost kind of everything, reduced myself, sold all my my things, and started now a year ago new in a different town. And in the past year, I learned so much about the mindset that you can have everything what you want, and also everything what you need. And it is not only the big thing, it is really the smallest things you just have to think about, and always towards your goals thinking, and you achieve and reach it. Yeah.
Very good. So basically, you getting down to the down to the bottom made you overcome that and just realize what potential you have and what things can come into your life. That is awesome.
Yeah. I'm also very happy about the experience because without that, I wouldn't have space to create a new life. And I'm pretty sure many people think, oh my God, her life is destroyed. Why she didn't buy a robe or so to hang. But nah, I really think everything had to happen that I have space. Because if you want a different life, you need to give up your old life, and many people don't understand that.
Yes.
That is so true. I mean, we talk about that a lot, where like you have to declutter and make room, get rid of the old, whatever doesn't serve you, so you can make room for the new. That is so true. And I, it's funny because I just recently had a law of attraction story, because I have been, for the past couple years, I used to be in what's called a BNI, Business Networking International, and they're all over the world. They're in like 67 countries, and it's basically networking, teaching you core values in networking. It teaches you how leadership skills and things like that. And I learned a lot when I was in a particular BNI, and I ended up unfortunately having to drop out of the BNI because my financial situation wasn't going well. I had to get a job. I was actually in there for a different business that I was in. I was self-employed, and then just had to, things didn't go very well. And then recently, of course, getting back into online marketing and starting to get a momentum, I've been thinking about rejoining, but possibly a different one. So back in November, I happened to be at an event that someone else who was in a BNI was part of, but it wasn't a BNI event. It just happened to be like a mental, they call it mental massage. And I happened to show up, and someone there was talking about BNI, and she's saying, oh, it's too bad I can't make this BNI meeting on Friday because I have to go to, and I was like, well, I can sub for you because you can get subs. And I didn't even know this person, but because I know the whole structure of BNI, she's like, you would do that for me? I'm like, sure. So I ended up going to this BNI. And at this BNI, I met someone who is he has his own social media business, and we connected instantly. So in the past several months, since November, we've met we've had one-on-ones, several of them, and we had scheduled a one-on-one for this past Wednesday. And I said to him, oh, don't let me forget to tell you that, I need to get a referral from you, because it's a referral-based program.
Mm-hmm.
I need referrals for like a handyman or something like that, because we had a refrigerator delivered and they damaged our stairs, our wall, our railing, all this kind of stuff. He's like, well, instead of having me do that, why don't you come to our BNI meeting on Friday?
That's awesome.
So I ended up going to this BNI meeting on Friday, and let me tell you, the energy in that room was so amazing. There's 58 people in that chapter. And, I didn't know much of anybody other than the social media person and a few people that I recognized from being there, back in November. And I happened to sit at a table, and one of the ladies at the table was talking. She's a real estate person, and she was talking about, she actually had 4 representatives that actually work for her. She owns a real estate company. She was talking about how she grossed over $30 million in her company over the past year. This is who Renee Sullivan happened to sit next at a table with. And not that everybody had made that much money, but when you surround yourself with like-minded people, I want to be around that. That was I was going to join anyways, but having that experience sitting next to this lady who, and the 4 other representatives she had, they can't join because there's only one person per business that can join a chapter. So she's going to be instrumental in starting other chapters. So her company's going to grow even more because there's, her 4 representatives who were there wanted to. But I was like, if I'm going to be around like 7-figure earners on a weekly basis, that's the place I want to be. So that wasn't even on my radar screen, a few weeks ago, getting really back into BNI. But since that experience, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely need to get back into the BNI thing. And it was just a great experience knowing what BNI is all about, having been through that. I'm like, it was all feeling like good to me. So it was a great experience.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's very great.
Yeah, to me, I describe it a little bit modern, how I see the world. And I like really the idea of everything is just a very realistic computer game, and you lead everything, this complete game, with your mind, what you think.
Yep.
So your thoughts are simply a tool. It's nothing else. And people get always overrun by their thoughts, which is only their help. I mean, a hammer is also a tool to bring a nail in the wall, but if you don't use it properly, you hurt yourself. And most people do that. Yeah. So you really, you get taught to think always about what you don't want in life.
Yes.
But you always have to go to the point, what do you want?
Yes.
Figure out what do you want in life. And if you need...
You're so right. We go through these things so that way we really determine what do we not want, to kind of clarify that. So when certain things happen to you, you already kind of distinguish, okay, so that's not what I want. And you put that affirmation into a positive and say, listen, this is happening to me. So now I have to clarify it into an affirmation and put it, I want this now. You know what I mean? Instead of being in a toxic environment, what do I want? I want to be in a peaceful environment. I want to be stress-free, So that's exactly, you're absolutely right on that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And the more experiences we have where we figure out what we don't want, the faster they come. Yes. With each experience we have, the faster the things that we do want and we clarify, we just get those. So it's really exciting to see that, there's a lot of people in our community where, they're sharing more and more of their experiences, and it's nice to see that. And the more...
I actually have a story because...
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Jackie.
In the past, I feel like I was always kind of going towards the next shiny thing, and everyone has been there and done it, but mostly when people get involved with something, they just want instant gratification. And basically our norm, and that's what we all want. But with me, I was basically following like the major, guru out there, just doing what they were doing because they were finding success. And because I was doing that, I was just doing the same thing, like the marketing system, the business. But then I'm doing it. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, is this what I'm really passionate about? Is this what I want to continue doing? Is this what and then finally I started, getting more people coming into my life that, like when I ended up going to the event in July, and that was very life-changing to me because I feel like that was kind of like my true calling. And after that weekend, I was like, okay, this is it. Like I have an extreme passion about like personal development and mindset because we have to continuously be working on ourselves and our mindset. And if we don't, then we're going to continue falling back and going back to square one. And again, doing that instant gratification. So it's all about kind of like following your passion and kind of doing that as well too. So.
And just you going through the process yourself, you realize how much of a passion it is for you. I mean, and I've totally seen that in you personally, Jackie. Just you experiencing your first event, going through the experiences you have, you definitely have grown, and it's definitely clear what you're.
I'm not currently in my beautiful, affordable, attractive apartment that I attracted to my life. That's actually how my journey started. I'm currently doing laundry at my parents' and they're not here. But anyway, that's basically like how my story got started was, changing my mindset and just continuously like reprogramming my mind, my thinking, getting rid of the rats out of my head, and basically really figuring out and determining what I really wanted. And I basically wrote that down, thought about it all the time. And then I finally, you can't beat like $500 a month for an apartment,
that's great. That's, awesome.
But there's certain, like we still have our ups and downs in life. And the thing recently that I've been talking to Renee about, because we still have our moments where, we're women, we're emotional and things happen. But the thing is basically like you're going to have bumps in the road, but you have to continuously be like feeling good now. And like in the audios, KT mentions like, open a bottle of champagne, pop it now. Like, there's a reason why you're going through it. Maybe you can't see it right now, but something better is going to be coming along around the corner, and everything in the end is going to work out fine. If it's not the end, it's,
Right, exactly. So. If you're not under the ground or in, in ashes, you're good, okay? Yes. You got another chance.
Yeah.
I see it also that we are just artists. We are artists, and with our mind we create. And I mean, somebody, the guy who created the jewels for the Queen in England, he didn't start it with that one. He started maybe with a little ring or a little chain. Yeah. And then he came and made the jewels and the crown. And
yes.
I see it the same with the mind. Also, comparing the exercising the mind, the same with exercising your body. I mean, I am not able to run a marathon tomorrow, but when I exercise, then of course I am able to. And the same is with your mind. When you exercise your mind, you can have the best life, because this world works like that. You program your life. You can go in the evening to bed and think about what you want to experience in the morning or in the next day. And when you fall asleep, it always works for me. I'm sometimes I forget it in the evening, but when I do it, it works every time. I program my days.
Yes. Well, the best times to think about what you want is first thing in the morning and just before bed.
Yes.
They tell you that all the time, and that really is true. Even before I started listening to these audios on a daily basis, that was the one thing that I was always told, is that if you ever want to think about what you want, do it first thing in the morning,
Yes,
and then
first thing
bed. And I've actually had dreams about the things that I want if I'm focused.
Yeah.
I wish that would happen all the time, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
But at the right moments, I do have dreams about, I have dreams about, going to events now.
Me too.
About, talking to
Webinars.
people about the law of attraction.
Yes.
I'm having more and more of those
Yes.
dreams.
Yeah.
I'm having more dreams about freedom and things like that. So
Me too.
it works. It really does.
Another thing I just realized this, but one of the main things that we need to work on is, leaders are always readers. And one of the books that I recently just read, I wish I had it on me so I could show you, but it's by Peter Ragnard, The Science of Luck and The Winning Guide all the time or whatever. But it was the most amazing book I've ever read, because literally while I was reading it, there were little things that was just happening to me during the day. Like I had some kind of short visualizations right before work. I had it, I'm not even kidding, guys. Right before work one day, no one really opens the door, the first door you walk in. There's two separate doors, and I'm always walking in the second door because that's open. The first one's locked. But there was one morning where my hands were full. I just had a bunch of stuff to bring in. And I had this vision, someone's going to open the door. I don't know who it was. And this never happened. So I started walking to the second door. And it was so weird because all of a sudden another teacher was behind me. And then my coworker was like, "Oh, I saw Shireen behind you, Jackie." So I figured I would open the door. And I was like, okay, I literally just... all of a sudden I had this vision, someone's going to open the door, and they did. And I was like, okay, that was a little creepy, but I feel like it was because I was literally reading the book at the time. Yeah. And then I also started, during that time too, I was also going to the laundromat and getting my laundry done. And people usually don't do this, but every time I was walking in or out, someone was holding the door for me. And I was like, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And I just felt great. I was like, all right, I'm super lucky. I feel very grateful. And then as I was putting laundry in the washer, I never see, people usually keep their coins in a little plastic cup or whatever. Yeah. There was a bunch of coins right near my foot. And I was like, and no one has no one picked this up before. No one saw how many people are in here right now.
For you.
Thank you. And then again, as I was walking out, someone was holding the door as I was coming in. This happened 10 times, and I think it was because I was reading that book. It was helping me become okay, I'm an extremely lucky person. Yeah. And I just, little things throughout the day, just little things started happening. It just creating my luck during that time period. Yep. And I just want to read that book again.
Well, it's funny because when I was reading the book Ask and It Is Given for the first time, one of the strategies I talk about is writing checks to yourself and things.
Yes.
So I've been doing that in different ways. I actually did that for 3 months in a row. I made fake checks, but I imagined they were real checks that I was writing to myself, like that. Well, here's what happened. Within a month of doing that, I happened to write the day before. I wrote a check to myself for the traffic company MLM Leads. I wrote a check for $6,000 worth of traffic to MLM Leads, and I wrote the memo. Highly converting traffic, highly responsive converting traffic.
Yes, I do remember you telling me that.
And the next day I got my first MLM referral. Wow. I know the reason why that happened is because the activities that I was doing. So, so that was so exciting to me. I'm like, wow, but it took a month, and time is irrelevant.
Yes.
It might not happen immediately, but this, that process of me doing it was a month, and then that's what happened. And then I kept buying traffic. I've been buying traffic for a long time anyways, but I just knew that the reason why that particular instant happened was because of the activities that I was doing.
It's the little things that we're starting to do now. you know?
I have also a very funny story. When I was working in the bank, I was reading a book called, I think, EM2 something. It reminded a little bit on, what is it? I forgot his
Einstein?
name.
Like
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Exactly. So the author's name is called Pam Crowd, and she worked with a German author together. And
Okay.
at his place, I did an education as a law of attraction coach. So in this book, there are some experiments which you can do. And one is when you wake up, wish for a present in the day. So during the day. And this present can be in different ways. One woman, she had a purse from somebody. Another one experienced a happening, which was a present for her. And I said, okay, I get also a present. So I went to the bank. I was alone, had no appointment, and suddenly a customer came in and I wrote a very big contract. So I thought, maybe that was the present. But no, I want a clear one. I really want to know a clear one. I'm not sure if that was my present yet. And then 2 hours later, a client comes in, puts some chocolate on my desk and says, Mrs. Schwan, I have a little present for you.
Oh my goodness, how sweet. Oh my goodness. I love it.
So this was definitely my present.
That was clear. They even said the word present. Oh, that's so nice.
That is nice. I think these conversations and these stories will definitely, they have a huge impact. I personally, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I need to start writing these little things down, because I don't really keep a journal, and I know that it's powerful.
But this could be our journal. I mean, we could definitely write it down, but we can actually share more of these.
Share more, I know.
On a regular basis, because listening to your both of your stories, it makes me remember more stories. Yes. And I'm like, oh, I remember more stories. Yeah. You know that kind of thing. So it's good, and the more you think about this stuff, the more you're going to bring in.
Yeah.
But the journal, I would really suggest, I mean, I started and it worked really well for me just to program to the way to think. I had a wish book. And in this book, I wrote exactly what I want. If I felt sad or frustrated, then I took my wish book and I wrote in this book what I want, and not what I want, because when you write I want something, then it describes just the condition and it doesn't change anything. But when you say it is already there, then it has something. This reality has to bend over to give
or like,
what you want.
My Mercedes, my black Mercedes. You write it as you already have it, and that way that's much better than saying you're right. Absolutely.
Well,
and
I would like to have more conversations.
What were you saying, Daniela?
I was just saying I love this conversation, and I would like to have more with you guys.
We're going to continuously be doing these on a weekly basis, so we definitely appreciate you coming on, Daniela. That was great.
I know, and I know it was impromptu, so we appreciate it even more. So we thank you so much. We will be back next week. I'm not sure exactly what the time, but we'll let you know, and we'll share more stories and stuff.
Look forward.
Thank you.